Hey everyone, it's me, Ms. Ruiz. Welcome back to Medical Terminology. Today we're going to discuss Chapter 5, which is the integumentary system. So let's get started. Learning outcomes from this chapter, 5.1, we will identify parts of the skin and body membranes and discuss the function of each part. 5.2, we will identify the major word parts used in building words that relate to the skin and the body membranes. 5.3, we will discuss common diagnostic tests, laboratory tests, and clinical procedures used in testing and treating disorders of the skin and body membranes. 5.4, define the major pathological conditions of the skin and the body membranes. 5.5, define surgical terms related to the skin and body membranes. 5.6, explain common pharmacological agents used in treating disorders of the skin and body membranes. And finally, 5.7, we will identify common abbreviations associated with the skin and body membranes. Learning Outcome 5.1, major terms describing the structure and function of the skin and body membranes. The integumentary system includes the skin or the integument, the hair, the nails, the sweat glands, which are also called sudoriferous glands, and the oil-producing glands, also called sebaceous glands. Functions of the integumentary system is to cover and protect the body. It also regulates the body's temperature. It is also responsible for excretion of waste material from the body, and it also involves in participation in the synthesis of vitamin D. Let's begin by building our skin and body membrane vocabulary. So our first kind of combining form here is adip, which is the word root. With the combining vowel, it becomes a combining form, adipo, which means fatty. Then you'll see we have three that mean skin. So we have cutano, dermato, and dermo, all mean skin. And then we have hydro. Hydro means sweat. Now something else I'm going to throw out at you is there is also a word part that's hydro with a Y. It's H-Y-D-R-O. Now that means water. Hydro with a Y means water. Hydro with an I means sweat. A good way to remember this, I sweat. Why not go take a dip in the water? And then next we have ichthy or ichthyo, which means fish or scaly. In the past, I've had some students relate this to icky fish. So I don't know if that might help you remember this word part and its definition. Then we have kerato. Kerato means horny tissue. Lipo or lipo means fatty. I'm sure you've heard of liposuction. Melano, that means black. That's one of our colors. It means black or very dark. Then myco. Myco means fungus. Now, in this case, we have three different ones that begin with my, and I really want you to know the difference. So I'm going to put them up here on the screen. So we have myco, which means fungus that we just saw. Then we have myo. There's no C there. Myo means muscle. And then we have myelo. So myel means spinal cord or spine. So I want you to make sure that you understand and differentiate which word part you're actually looking at, because though they look very similar, they all three have very different meanings. All right, back to this. Next we have onycho. Onycho means nail. We'll also have a word part unguo. Unguo also means nail. Now you'll notice moving forward, we do have sometimes where we'll have two different word parts. For this example, onycho and unguo. Onycho would be used in terms of diagnosing a pathology. So onychomycosis right there is nail fungus. If we said something was subungual, then we're talking about that it is under the nail. So unguo meaning for nail, but it is used in an anatomic location way, if that makes sense. So you have one that's used more for a diagnostic, and you have one that's used more for like an anatomic location. So you might see that as we move forward and learn other word parts. Next we have pylo. Pylo means hair. This is another one that'll have a similar. Tricho. Tricho also means hair. Pylo, pilonidal cyst, maybe you've heard of that. That would be in the in the diagnostic terminology. Next we have SIBO. SIBO means sebum or sebaceous gland. Remember, those are our oil glands. Then we have steto. Steto is another one for fat. Remember, we had lipo as well. This one is steto. Steatorrhea would be like passing fat in the stool. So you want to know that steto also means fat. Tricho, we just talked about that. So tricho also means hair. So remember, pylo and tricho you can put together on your flashcards. That might help you remember that the two mean the same thing. Then we have xantho. Xantho is another one of our colors. So xantho means yellow. Zero. Zero means dry. Kind of think of there's zero moisture, right? So it's dry skin. Skin is the largest organ of the body. It's the external protective covering to disease, and it plays a vital role in hemostasis, which helps maintain our body's own biological ecosystem. All right, let's look at a cross-section of skin. Skin not only serves as an external protective covering to disease, but it also plays a vital role in hemostasis, as we previously said. The cross-section of the skin is labeled with parts of the integumentary system labeled, as well as the three layers. We have the epidermis. Remember, epi means upon or over, and dermis we know is skin, so this is the outer layer. Then we have the dermis, which is literally that middle layer. And then we have subcutaneous tissue. Remember, sub means below, under, less than, and then cutaneo is another word part for skin. So it's telling you the anatomic location of where we are, subcutaneous. So those are the three layers of the skin, and they contain the hair follicle, the glands, the nerves, and adipose tissue, and much more. Remember, adipose, adipo is another word part for fat. We went over that first. All right, hair and nails. Hair grows out of the epidermis to cover various parts of the body. Hair serves to cushion and protect. Nails are made of hard keratin. Nails serve as a protective covering to help us grasp objects and allow us to scratch. All right, hair growing out of the scalp. The structure of each hair shows two parts, a hair shaft and a hair root. The hair shaft is the visible part of the hair that sticks above the skin surface. The hair root is below the skin surface and extends down into the deeper layer of the skin. The hair root widens to a round hair bulb at the base of the hair, which internally consists of a matrix, hair papilla, and melanocyte. The hair papilla supplies the hair root with blood from the artery found inside the bottom of the hair bulb. Each hair follicle is attached to an erector pili, which is also a smooth muscle, and each hair follicle is also connected to a sebaceous gland. Now that small muscle right there is responsible for whenever we get goosebumps or our hair stands on end. That little muscle will contract and cause the hair to stand erect. Next, let's look at the nail. The nail is comprised of the free edge at the tip, the nail groove, which is on the lateral side, the nail body, which is in the medial area. Remember, we'll know that that means middle. And the lunula, which is at the area closest to the skin and the cuticle, and the eponychium, which is actually the cuticle. And do remember that the body has to lay in the bed, so your nail body is going to lay in your nail bed. So underneath your nail is the nail bed. Let's talk glands. They are distributed throughout the body. They're found on the hands, soles of the feet, and the axillae and the forehead. Remember, axillae is our armpits. Let's go over some of the glands in the skin. Numerous glands are found on the hands, soles of the feet, axillae, and the forehead. The image has the following structures labeled: surface sweat pores, duct of eccrine sweat glands, erector pili, sebaceous gland, Myrican sweat glands, ducts of apocrine sweat glands, hair follicle, and apocrine sweat gland. Learning outcome 5.2, word building in the skin and body membranes. So here you can see we have adiposis, and next to it we have the pronunciation. Then we have dermatitis, dermabrasion, hydrosis, ichthyosis, keratosis, liposuction, and melanoma. Then we have mycosis, onychotomy, pilocystic, seborrhea, steatitis, trichopathy, xanthoma, and xeroderma. The X makes the Z sound. Learning Outcome 5.3, Diagnostic Procedural and Laboratory Terms. They assist in diagnosing medical conditions. They're used in combinations for final diagnosis and treatment planning, such as a patch test, a scratch test, intradermal, Mon2 test, and PPD test. Lesson 5.4, Pathological Terms. Pathological conditions of the skin and body membranes include lesions, diseases, and cancers. We also have these terms that you will see quite a bit in the pathological area of the skin: macule, papule, nodule, polyp, tumor, bulla, vesicle, and cyst. Let's look at some types of lesions. Terms associated with primary lesions include macule, patch, vesicle, bulla, pustule, papule, plaque, nodule, tumor, and wheal. Terms associated with secondary lesions include erosion, ulcer, excoriation, fissure, scale, crust, and keloid. Terms associated with vesicular lesions include cherry angioma, telangiectasia, petechiae, purpura, and finally ecchymosis. Let's look at some terms now that are related to symptoms, abnormalities, and conditions. We have rubeola, rubella, roseola, varicella, impetigo, pyoderma, tinea, ringworm, pruritus, candidias, and dermatitis. Additional symptoms, abnormalities, and conditions include urticaria, hives, eczema, ecchymosis, plural for this is ecchymoses, petechiae, singular is petechia. Then we have purpura, rosacea, furuncle, carbuncle, abscess, and gangrene. Let's wrap up with some additional symptoms, abnormalities, and conditions. We have herpes, herpes simplex virus type 1, herpes simplex virus type 2, herpes zoster, cold sore, fever blister, genital herpes, shingles, wart, verruca, plural is verrucae, plantar wart, and cellulitis. Next, we're going to discuss the rule of nines. This is a method used to classify the extent of burns. So the surface area calculated by the following. The entire left arm is 9%, the entire right arm is 9%. The entire head is 9%. As you can see in the image, the front half is 4.5, the back half is 4.5 as well. Together that makes your 9%. Then we have the entire chest is 9%, the entire abdomen is 9%, the entire back is 18%, then the entire left leg is 18%, and the entire right leg is 18%. And the groin equals 1%. If you decide to go into medical billing and coding, this will definitely come in handy whenever you're trying to code. Some additional symptoms, abnormalities, and conditions. We have acne, acne vulgaris, comedo, blackhead, whitehead. Now the difference between those is one's an open comedo and one's a closed comedo. We can get more into that in a bit. Scleroderma, sclero is a hardening. Psoriasis, seborrhea, burn, first-degree burns, second-degree burns, third-degree burns, pediculosis, scabies, it's the human itch mite, onychia, onychitis, paronychia, onychopathy, neoplasms, callus, corn, keratosis, basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, Kaposi sarcoma, malignant melanoma, and alopecia areata. Learning Outcome 5.5, surgical terms. Plastic surgery, we have skin grafts, autografts, allograft, homograph, heterograph. You want to know the difference? Remember, auto means self. An allograft or a homograft is used from a donor, so it's donor skin from another person, so it's the same species. And then we have heterograft and xenograft, which both mean that they are donor skin used from one species to another, for an example, from an animal such as a pig to a human. Then we have cryosurgery that uses cold. Think of I cried because I was cold. Cryo. Then we have dermabrasion. We have debridement, curettage, cauterized. That's, remember, it's burning. Cautero is our word part for burning. Think you got caught and you got burned. That's what that means. Fulguration, biopsy. Remember, bio means life. And then Mohs surgery. Learning Outcome 5.6, pharmacological terms. Treatment of skin disorders involves the use of various medications. Topical preparations can relieve symptoms and kill disease agents. Other treatments involve heat, light, and radiation. Some pharmacological terms include chemotherapy, radiation therapy, ultraviolet light therapy, antihistamines, antibiotics, antiseptics, antibacterials, and antifungals. Then we also have anti-inflammatory, corticosteroids, antipruritics, anesthetic, topical anesthetic, emollients, astringents, keratolytics, and alpha hydroxy acids. Learning Outcome 5.7, abbreviations. So here you can see we have BSA, which is body surface area. BX, we talked about the ones with the X, right? We're going to see those a lot. So BX is biopsy. Derm means dermatology. HIV, human immunodeficiency virus disease. HSV is herpes simplex virus. IND is incision and drainage. ID means infectious disease. Then we have OINT, which is short for ointment. PPD is purified protein derivative, used in a skin test for tuberculosis. Staph is short for staphylococcus. STI, sexually transmitted infection. Strep, that is short for streptococcus. And TB is tuberculosis. So let's wrap up this review. In 5.1, we learned the integumentary system includes the skin or integument, the hair, the nails, the sweat glands, and the oil glands. Remember, those are sudiferous and sebaceous glands. This system covers and protects the body. It helps regulate the body's temperature. It excretes some of the body's waste material and includes the body's sensors for pain and sensation. 5.2, word building requires knowledge of combining forms and their meaning. 5.3, diagnostic, procedural, and laboratory findings assist the healthcare provider in diagnosing medical conditions. Often used in combination, these tests lead to a final diagnosis and assist in the treatment plan. 5.4, pathological conditions of the skin and the body membranes include lesions, diseases, and cancers. 5.5, skin surgery includes the repair of various conditions. Sutures, stitches, or staples hold the skin together while healing takes place. Plastic surgery may involve reconstructing areas of the skin, as after severe burns or radiation. Other types of skin surgery result in the removal of a part of growth to test for the presence of cancer. Growths also are removed to keep cancer from spreading. 5.6. Treatment of skin disorders involves the use of various medications. A wide variety of topical preparations can relieve symptoms and even kill agents that cause disease. Other treatments involve heat, light, and radiation. And finally, 5.7. Abbreviations are used to describe diseases, conditions, procedures, and treatments associated with the skin and the body membranes. And that is all I have for you guys today. Please reach out if you have any questions or if you would like help with some word association to help you remember some word parts. I love engaging with students to do that. It helps so much with your recall. Again, here's my information. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Bye.